Welcome, everyone, to the latest and most delayed episode of The Sous Chefs. I, as always, am Chef Kimber, joined by my law partner in life, soulmate, and law partner.
I'm always Chef Rob, y'all.
And today, what we thought we would do, we do have more videos coming for you. There was a miscommunication between us and our social media hookup about who was responsible for recording all the videos that we have been recording. Weren't none of them edited, y'all. So that's going to be my homework for the weekend. So for now, though, what we thought we would bring to you is more chefing, more food horror stories. And these particularly are our restaurant nightmares that we've had over the years during various trips to various restaurants, food establishments in the city of Chicago and elsewhere. Robert, where shall we start this entire journey into darkness?
Okay, so I obviously I feel like we should start somewhere where we both went together. And I'm thinking it was summer. It was not really in walking distance, but we decided it was. And we got cheeseburgers.
Oh, girl. Yes. Let me set this up. Now, back in the day, so like I live in Edgewater, which is on the north side of Chicago, and Robert was living with me at the time, and my husband too. Like we were just a happy little trio. And there used to be this really great place in Andersonville called the Burger Philosophy that just made burgers so good that you would cry. And for some reason, this restaurant closed, and another less successful. I mean, it's still there, so I guess allegedly successful, but this is when the gastropub thing was coming to the fore, and they're like, it's a pub, but we can charge $16 for a hamburger because it's a gastropub. So we decided we're going to go to this place called Little Bad Wolf. And it was very fancy inside. I don't think the decor made it nicer because they were going almost for like a speakeasy vibe almost. It was kind of a weird retro thing, and the seats were very uncomfortable. We order burgers. And then what happens, Robert?
Okay. So here's the thing. I want to say this. Kimber and I are not picky eaters, I would say. We will try almost anything. But we also have standards for what food should have. So keep that in mind as I describe this. So, like, when you get the menu, it's like this little wolf, a medium wolf, a big wolf, the biggest, baddest bitch wolf, something like that. So it's like every time you go up, they add something to the burger. So I think it's like you can have a single, then you get a double. Then you get a double with bacon, a double with bacon, onions, and a bunch of other shit. And then an egg gets added at the end.
And
so,
to be fair, when we're talking about onions, we're not just talking about a slice of onion. We're talking about French fried onions that are heaped on top of all this other shit you got going on there.
Right. And so we're just like, we're chilling, like I think we even each had like a drink or something like that because it was like summertime hot, and we were just happy to be in some damn air conditioning after that walk. So the food comes out. Kimber orders her burger. BK orders his. I get mine. Of course, I go for the biggest damn burger there because I like eggs. I like bacon. I like onions. So the burgers come out, and immediately we are all dismayed. Kimber has like a normal sized hamburger. BK's burger is a little bit bigger, but then like my burger, it didn't matter how much smashing you did. The only way to eat it is to unhinge your jaw.
Literally. And that's literally the term
take it apart.
Like, how the hell are you supposed to, like, how the hell? Like, it's literally this tall. Now, Robert has a giant head, but his mouth is proportional to his head. His jaw is not so big that he literally can, like, this is a deep cut, y'all. For the Gen Xers out there who grew up with the science fiction miniseries V. And when we find out that these aliens actually straight up eat animals, and at one point, Diana, the leader of the aliens, literally unhinges her jaw and drops an entire guinea pig in there.
Oh, wow.
That is the kind of unhinging of, it's literally like, like that's
like, I remember my jaw was aching.
He couldn't, mind you, this man is gigantic, okay? He could not fit it. It wouldn't matter if he did it in a box with a fox on the lamb with some spam. He could not get this burger in. And I'm just sitting here like, okay, I appreciate the effort of your gastropub that you're serving fries in a tiny little fryer basket. Okay, cute. But when I see a hamburger come out that's so huge that they literally have to stab something into it to keep it from toppling over because the architecture ain't architecting, you know it's an Instagram right there. And Robert's over here like literally trying to put it in his mouth. And we're trying to figure out, like, do you like take a layer out? Do we start eating it with a knife and fork? Like, you can't bite it. And of course, we're still puzzling over how he's supposed to eat this burger. And the server comes over like, and I was like, well, this is an Instagram dish. This is not meant for human consumption. This is meant for photography only. And of course, that was not a response we're prepared for. And they were not able to come back with, they were just like, oh, well, you asked for 3 patties.
And ran away from the table.
I'm just like, how the hell is he supposed to get it into his face mouth? Like, you can't. Ultimately, how did you even eat that burger? Did you have to like deconstruct it?
I took one of the patties off. I took half the onions off, and I ended up eating like one patty with the bacon, half the onions in the top bun, and the other one, I ate it with the bottom bun and half the onions. And it was unwieldy, and it's so unnecessary. But I mean, it tasted good. It was just like not fit for human consumption. Another thing that I want to hear from you, your favorite breakfast food.
Okay, so here's the thing.
You have a philosophy about this.
I do have a philosophy, and people know this about me, that I really am a stickler for pancakes. And I mean American style, fluffy pancakes. Now, I have a standard, and it is, listen, this is going to be controversial, I'm sure, but I feel like a diner is usually the best place to get a high quality pancake, but it's a specific type of diner, like your Denny's, IHOP. Obviously, the P is right there. There's a place that down in in Edgewater, I guess, called Alexander's, a little Greek diner that makes perfect pancakes. Now, the perfect pancake is no larger than maybe 4 inches in circumference, okay? If it's as big as the plate, no. If it's bitter from too much baking powder because they have to put that much leavener in because it's a belly whopper like Clark's used to make, deep cut for all y'all who were living like you in the 90s when you would be out clubbing in Boys Town and you needed someplace to eat at 4 a.m. That's where you would go, is Clark's on Clark. And the pancakes there, though, were always completely the size of the plate, and they were like an inch thick, and they were
that sounds gross.
Inedible. So here's the problem. I have a very specific type of pancake that I want. I want it to be fluffy but thin. I don't want it to be plate sized. I want it to be human sized. If it's larger than my head, you've already fucked up. I also have very specific requirements for how it should be presented to me. Because when I was in cooking school, I was taught about the difference between presentation side and that shit ain't nobody want to see. Right. Which means the side that first hits the griddle is the brown, beautiful side of the pancake that once the pancake has been flipped, it needs to be reflipped so that the presentation side is up. I should only be seeing beautiful pancake tops, golden brown, fluffy pancake tops. If you provide to me a plate where the pancakes are shingled, bitch, no. Do not shingle the pancakes. I don't want to eat shingled pancakes. Pancakes are only supposed to be served in a stack. They are the world's most stackable food. which is why they should be no bigger than 4 inches, and they should be thin enough so that if 3 or 4 are stacked on top of each other, even if I fork them, I can still sit into my mouth. I don't need to get a pancake in there, okay? I'm not Julia Roberts in Pretty Woman taking a pancake and tacoing it and just eating it, raw dogging it like a monster. The proper way to eat a pancake is to have room temperature salted butter that you and whipped in the little cup. You can make your own butter. I don't give a shit, but it best be whipped and it best be room temperature. If you give me cold ass butter, I swear to God, there is no reason why your butter needs to be cold. You should be taking it out of the refrigerator at least an hour before service. That shit needs to be room temperature. These pancakes need to be hot off the griddle, stacked like this. Presentation side up. If you put some motherfucking powdered sugar on there, I swear to God. No room for powdered sugar, y'all. The only reason people put powdered sugar on there is to hide their shame. Somebody fucked up. If somebody you put powdered sugar on a pancake, somebody fucked up. And they're trying to hide it. No, sir. No, sir. We want hot, fresh pancakes, at least 3 to a stack. 4 is great. 3 is ideal. 2 can even work in a short stack situation. But again, they must be served on top of each other, not shingled, not upside down. And I don't give a shit, Denny's. I'm looking at you, Denny's. Okay. Here's the gag. I know that you want people to know that you actually put the fruit in the pancakes, because I do like a red, white, and blue breakfast with the strawberries on top and the whipped cream, and they put the blueberries in there. But I don't need to see the blueberries to know they're in there. Just put them on the right side. Stack them. Don't shingle them. No powdered sugar. Sprinkle the strawberries. Bloop with the whipped cream. That's what we do. Now that you know my standard, you must also be aware of the fact that hardly anyone is able to fulfill this. Which is why my husband and I have a pact, which is he will order something off the menu that I would also like to eat, in case the pancakes come out in a way that are not acceptable to me, and then we will swap. Because what happened, Robert?
Oh, Lord. What didn't happen? I feel like this is where you tell that story. Was it near the Granville station? In that place that's now been 15 different places?
That was the French toast debacle of like 2006. I'm talking about the pancake massacre of probably somewhere around 2012 at now shuttered Uncommon Ground here in Edgewater. So let me set the stage. I had been to this restaurant a week before with a work colleague for brunch, and they had served this really good pancake. And it was a the pancake included like some Granny Smith apples, toasted hazelnuts. It was served with an apple cider reduction and like an apple compote. And then they had like a special infused whipped cream that actually had cinnamon or some shit in there. It was delicious. And so I wanted to, it was as good as hell, which is why when we went out to breakfast the following week, I was very excited to order the same platter of pancakes, which I'll have you know cost at least $10.50, if not more. And that was prior to all the inflationary stuff going on. These people were always trying to charge you $10-11 for some goddamn pancakes. And that wasn't even inclusive of the bacon. I had to order the candied bacon extra for like $7. Okay. So the pancakes arrive. What do I see? First of all, shingled. Second of all, powdered sugar every damn where. It looked like that scene from Scarface in there. There was so much snow. You would have thought it was the 80s and we were about to go to a strip club, and first we're like, we're going to do some blow. I'm not talking about one key bump. I'm talking about there's fully a kilo of cocaine, enough to cocaine a bear. It was just like, so, like I'm literally having to scrape. And here's how I know they fucked up, because when I kind of just scraped with my knife a little bit, I see black. So they burnt the pancake, they shingled it, they very inexpertly tried to cover up their tracks, like a 4-year-old who killed their brother and then just threw a blanket over the dead body and thought nobody would notice.
Nobody's gonna notice a burnt pancake.
And I don't even think they remembered to put the reduction on there. So even after all that, I'm waiting for this apple cider reduction. Wasn't no reduction. And they had something different. Instead of like the fancy whipped cream, they had like some compound butter that maybe had some shit in it. Okay, great. But I'm just looking at this and I'm like, well, this is some bullshit right here. I ain't eating this. So I end up, we're waiting. Now, my face is giving, this is before the era that Karen had, the concept of a Karen.
Right.
Had been created, but I'm definitely giving aggressive white lady face right here. And I'm eating this bacon like and I'm all super caffeinated because everybody who worked in that restaurant was clearly working on their master's degree because service was not their forte. Like you could never get your coffee up like sometimes they would re-up your coffee, but usually it would take a while before they would notice that you've been sitting there with an empty cup for a while. But I've had 3 cups of coffee at this point, and I'm angrily eating this bit here. And I'm just waiting for them to come by and be like, how's everything tasting? They could feel the rage wafting out of me like the wave from Hawaii 5-0. But it's rage. It's just rage. The anger, the hanger is just, and everybody's, of course, very uncomfortable. Now, BK's over here like, I'm not going to stop eating my food. She does this shit all the time. Robert gets really intense secondhand embarrassment. He's like, oh, shit, I hope this lady gets some food fast or we're all going to die. Finally, after I want to say 20 minutes, I'm sitting here with some cold ass pancakes now. They're burnt and cold. Right. I'm sitting here. I've rage ate my bacon, all 3 slabs of it. And they're like, oh, hi. And I was like, let me just tell you everything that's wrong with this. And I was like, well, the pancakes are burnt. They tried to cover up their tracks with this. This is some bullshit and you're missing the blobbity. And they were like, oh, and they just kind of like, they couldn't handle it. So they ran off. And a few minutes later, now comes the manager. I did not request a manager. When a manager is included in my food escapades, it's always bad for the manager. And for everybody at the table. So the manager comes over and is like, so was this not to your liking? Was the flavor profile too much? You didn't like the balsamic reduction? And I was like, first of all, get your facts right. It was supposed to be an apple cider reduction. As you can plainly see, ain't no reduction. Yeah. What we do have is some burnt ass cakes covered in 5 pounds of powdered sugar to hide their shame. Where are the nuts? Where is the cream? Where is all the shit that you're charging me $10.50 for? And they're like, well, we'll take this away. We won't charge. I'm like, damn right, you won't charge. And that was that.
And I'm doing you a fucking favor.
And I just rage drank coffee for the rest of the time, which was hard to do because they didn't want to come back to the table after that. This is why people don't like going to breakfast with me unless this is specifically why they want to go to breakfast with me.
Oh my goodness.
I have a fan club of people who are like, man, my favorite thing is to go out to breakfast with Kimber and watch her order pancakes and they're bad. Like I could do that.
Oh my God. Kimber, you know what just popped into my head? Another time we went to breakfast, the 3 of us, I don't know what we were doing on Broadway. Maybe it was a new restaurant.
Anne's Father, or were we at Pearl's Place?
No, we were at the one by the library. Across from the little diner with the green.
Oh, yeah, that's just that regular, that's yeah, I know the one you're talking about, the regular diner, yeah.
But like across the street, it was like the Rabbit or some shit like that.
Yes, they are out of business now.
Well, obviously.
For reasons Robert is going to explain to us right now.
Oh my God. So we go here. We're trying to like, it's a new business in the neighborhood. We're like, you know what? It's nice out. Let's take a little walk. We go, we go in, we look at the menu. We're like, okay, this is fine.
Oh,
Like,
I'd like to point out the music was blasting. There was no hardly
it
anybody
was
in there,
too
and the
loud.
music was like club level loud. And it's like 8:30 on a Sunday morning.
And we're just like, okay, cool. We'll be the first ones here. We'll eat, get on going about our business. So they give us coffee. Now, when you go to a breakfast place, I mean, in my experience, generally coffee comes with free refills.
Yes.
So that was strike number one for all three of us. We were like, I got to pay for another cup of coffee? Nope, this is fine. I'll have this one and that's it. So then we order the food. The descriptions of the food are like, whatever. But we already knew it was going to be hell when they charged us for another cup of coffee. It's coffee, y'all. It ain't that expensive. Like, it ain't that expensive, but okay. So then I ordered biscuits and gravy. Y'all. Like, I like a lot of gravy with my biscuits and gravy, but I'm not looking for a single biscuit swimming in a bowl of gravy.
And I'd like to point out they were trying to be fancy with those like weird offset bowls where it kind of tilted and it had a little like a pedestal. So it was a giant bowl tilted soup.
And it was soupy gravy. It wasn't even like thick and rich. And it was salty as fuck. I was like, okay, so the people back here are not tasting their food, which I know in a lot of places the cooks don't. I don't know why they don't, but they don't. I was trained to taste food before I sent it out. Kimber was trained to taste food before she sent it out. At home, we taste food before we put it on the plate, before we tell people the food is ready. Like, even if I'd have made the dish a million times, sometimes you might make a mistake. You might be a little heavy-handed. So I was like, this is salty as shit. So then Kimber, I think did you get French toast or pancakes?
I definitely didn't get the French toast because at this point I was not trusting the French toast. But the canary in the coal mine is always the pancakes.
And I mean, I'm not gonna lie. Me and BK are kind of perverse. We will literally ask to go eat breakfast places that we've never seen the pancakes, just in the hopes that they're shitty. And we will sit there and we'll pretend like we're not watching her. And she'll be like trying, like being cool about it. And then she'll be like, no. But that place was fucking terrible. Mm-hmm. We like ended up like, nobody ate their food. Like we didn't eat that.
You couldn't eat it. You couldn't eat the food. We
got up and walked across the street to the diner.
We had to. I was like, give me some motherfucking corned beef hash, y'all. I'm starving because it was so loud in there. There was nobody in there, and it was so loud. Now I understand that sometimes at the end of the night they might turn the music up so they can dance and unwind while they're cleaning up. But they decided that this ear-piercingly loud, and when we asked, is it possible to like turn down the music? Because it's really, really loud and it's Sunday, y'all. And they're like, oh, well, this is just the volume that we keep it at. And I was like, I can see why your restaurant is empty. Because this is just not cool. And they didn't stay open much longer. Like every time we went by, we're like, oh, that's the place where they made the crappy food and we couldn't finish it. And we had to eat at the diner across the street.
But I'll never forget what you said as we were walking out. They ain't finna be here long. They finna close.
I am like, I have this kind of sixth sense about how long a restaurant will leave. For example, let me talk about the time there was I can't even remember what it was called. Oh, was it called Lemongrass? What the hell was it called? They opened up this Thai restaurant on Devon. It's still a Thai restaurant, but it's been through different owners or whatever. But now they spent a lot of time and they spent literally all their budget making it super upscale and fancy in there, which for a Thai restaurant is not typical or necessary, because you don't go to a Thai restaurant and like the Thai, like I'm used to going to places like Star of Siam, which has literally not been redone since 1975, apparently, because they still have those tables where everything is carpeted and your legs hang over, or you're like literally sitting on a cushion on the floor or whatever. Totally fine. Nobody cares. Okay. But
Because the food is banging.
the food is banging, and it's been banging like ever since I moved into the city in 1995. I've been going there, right? Because it was literally right around the corner from where I used to work when it was at the time Life Building. So this restaurant, they had this really fancy upscale leather banquettes everywhere, like cloth napkins, and I'm just like, why? Because like most of the people on the street are just ordering this food to go. Nobody's like sitting in here to eat their food. But me and BK are like, fine, it's a Friday night, whatever the fuck. We'll go to Lemongrass or whatever the hell. Now, here's the gag. BK literally ran into the owner of the restaurant multiple times shopping for ingredients at the Devon Market down the street. Now, this is a neighborhood grocery store that, no shade, they have a lot of really great ethnic type foods and really great produce, but their meat is not great. It is poor quality, poorly butchered. All right. And if you're buying your chicken daily from Devon, first of all, you don't know how to run a business, because you should be buying this shit wholesale. But also,
retail prices.
Also, I know this chicken is not high quality, right? Because like I don't even buy it there. Like I just don't. So I decide that I'm going to order their special signature dish, lemongrass chicken. Now, for those of you who know and have been to Thai restaurants before, or even Vietnamese restaurants, they do lemongrass chicken too. It usually has some lemongrass in it. Not this time. So they come out, they give me my plate with a lovely flourish, like, enjoy. And I look down and I'm like, where's the lemongrass? And the server had an answer ready to go. I'll ask the chef. So I ran back, came back and said, so lemongrass is toxic, so we don't actually put it in the dish. And I was like, lemongrass is toxic? Lemongrass is toxic? All the years I've been eating lemongrass and I'm still here, it's called lemongrass chicken. Is that just a metaphor for something else? Like, what the fuck are you even talking about? This is ridiculous. I couldn't believe it. I was like, I'll never forget that somebody actually fixed their mouth to send someone out to tell me, a chef, which they didn't know, but still, that the lemongrass chicken could not contain any lemongrass in it because it was poisonous and toxic. Like,
I remember the first time you told me that story. One, we were at Devon and I was looking at the lemongrass. But you told me that story and I was crying because I'm like, why you ain't just say we don't have that, like 86 it or whatever? Like, come on,
call it garlic chicken or some shit, right? To come back and say, oh, I'm sorry, we don't have it. No, instead you're going to make some weird concoction that definitely doesn't have lemongrass or any kind of citrus in it at all. Like nothing. And I know lemongrass is not citrus, but I'll tell you what, it is not toxic. I don't know how much lemongrass you would literally have to consume to die, but I grew it in my yard this last summer, and I have actually purchased entire bulbs of lemongrass and infused soup with it and just left it in the pot for days and days. It's fine. It'll kill you. Okay. Now, within 6 months, that restaurant closed. Oh, it was called Viet Bistro. That was the name of it. So I think it was like Thai Vietnamese fusion or whatever. They did not last.
Is it still called cilantro now?
No, cilantro is on the other side of Devon. Viet Bistro is farther up. I think it's like
down the street.
Siam Rice now or something like that.
Oh,
It's still a Thai restaurant, but like, y'all, no, just no. Do not do that. Do not serve something if you don't have it. Do not then come to the diner and tell them that the thing that they ordered is in fact toxic and should not be ingested by humans. Like, maybe we need to rethink this whole menu.